Well, it's not always bad news usually when I get a call from one of our trainers and then I hit ignore and then they call right back. It's usually bad news. But this was good news. Silent Assassin just qualified at, I assume, Batavia. Ray Fisher went with her. Now, Ryan Swift is the partner of Ray Fisher. Ray does a good job and drives a lot of horses. He drove them all winter in Northfield, and then I assume he's back in Buffalo and Batavia. Now, I didn't want to break it to anybody, but I knew the 20th rung a bell kind of in my head. The 20th is when her next stake race is in Batavia, and I looked. It wasn't the Ohio Trotting Fillies. It wasn't Pennsylvania. I just couldn't put my finger on it, and then it hit me. 2-year-old trotting colts in Bucyrus. Now, that might not sound important, but it's very important. That's the grassroots. They literally have the Buckeye at a fair track. 17.5. That's what they go for. So, Magical Tom, and all those horses, we have 3 or 4 that need to go there. So, it's not as easy as just, hey, pitch the harness on them and away you go. Easy now. Magical Tom, What a Mission. Those aren't pitch the harness on them and away you go types. Now, I know there's going to be some people that say, whoa, What a Mission's a sire stake colt. Easy now, pump your brakes. He may or may not be a sire stake colt. I want to revisit all the colts just because you saw him finish 4th in the Next Generation. There is an entire state of trotters here that didn't pay into the Next Generation. So we don't know whether he's a sire stake horse yet or not. I would say at very best, it's a coin flip. At very best. So that's where I actually have to be on the 20th. So I know I kind of let my partners down with, I didn't know how to break it to them. I didn't know what I actually was going to do. But now that Ray Fisher has just qualified Silent Assassin for us in Batavia, and I talked to Ryan, she said, she's qualified, we made some changes. I said, listen, you guys are going to race her, so whatever changes you made, that's fine. If you got to make a few more, that's fine. These are professional trainers, drivers too. And quite frankly, between Ray and Ryan, these are people that know Batavia, that know that area in New York, that race horses on a half-mile track. So, their opinion is very welcome. So they wanted to make a few more changes. I said, change whatever you want. Here, step 1. You already fixed step 1. Get her around flat. I don't know what's going on. Get her around flat. Step 2, win. How's that? So that actually helped. That was good news, and they just called through. I was in the middle, I believe, talking about Rosita's Dream, GJ's ATM, yeah. So I go to warm them up with the open bridle on. Somebody went by me, and they're doing some demolition, or it was a gangland hit, I'm not sure, but there was a couple of big bangs just beside the track. It wasn't gunfire, I shouldn't have said that. But a couple of big bangs right beside the track, and the water truck was there, and a horse went by, and big fella opened fire right there. He kicked the apron right off the jog cart. He's just feeling good, right? So he's prancing around. Now now he thinks he's special. He's prancing around, but he was sound, right? And I went out to go second trip with him again, sound. And then in the race, he was sound. The bumps here and there weren't his ankle bothering him. It was him touching his knee, touching his jack, getting into gear here and there. These are shoeing things. So I said to Jim, I said, you have to separate yourself from that left hind ankle, right? We know it's a problem, but there's more than one. That's not just the issue. The issue is he's touching his knee and touching a jack. Okay, so how do we fix him? I said, I forgot to look at his shoes before I left, but I said, the further he went, the more he did it. He wasn't going any faster down the lane for the most part than he was anywhere else in the mile. So are his feet bothering him? Is he boxing his gait up because his feet are a little sore, or his knees are a little sore? Or maybe he was slipping a little bit and he was getting a little tired. He said, these are things, between you race here, right? Between you, your blacksmith, and your vet, things that have to be answered. So I think GJ's ATM is going to be a work in progress, but very, very happy, because when we first got there last night, they jogged Rosita's Dream, and the guy comes in. So there's a reader on the side of the there's a chip reader right? They go up, read the chip, make sure it's the horse. And what that machine will also do is take the temperature of the horse. It's a fantastic thing. It's not always accurate. So Rosita's Dream just jogged. He looked great. He's bright-eyed. He's feeling good. Guy comes up, scans it, and he said, 104. Excuse me? He said that temperature of that horse is 104. I said, sir, it's impossible. There's no possible way that it's 104. I'm just telling you. He said, okay, thanks. So we went warm up. The horse warms up like a monster. Jim goes, you want to take his temperature again? I said, there is a 0% chance that horse's temperature is high. He's never been as good as he just warmed up right there. And he made a break in the turn, but I knew why. It's when you're going slow with him, he'll crank over on the left line, and you'll think, hey, you got to put a head pull and a Murphy outside. But if he runs in at all, he'll make a break, even in those big turns. So took the stuff off the outside, switched it all around, just left a little line pull on the outside, and you saw him race. I mean, earplugs in, 2 minutes, wrapped up. You know, he could have won a mile in 59. And I think within the next month he'll try 57. I'm not going to say he's the best colt out there, because those other two in the next division look very good. Kyle Huston's horse and the other gentleman's horse both look very, very good. But he's definitely knocking on the doorstep. He is one of the best horses in Illinois, and quite frankly could become the best horse in Illinois. I don't think anybody's going to trot away from him right now, put it that way. Maybe later on, but not right now. So that was Illinois, and just before that, I got to watch Scioto. Slim Jimmy was flat. You guys know it. Jason knew it. I said to him, he goes, he thought he was slipping and it was muddy. I said, well, Jason, the horse is racing a monster in the mud here. Maybe he is slipping a little bit, but he seemed rather flat. And Brett knew he was flat too. He said, you know it. He's sitting fourth at the 3 to 5 shot with 2 long shots up front. He's coming at the quarter pole with Slim Jimmy if he's good. He's not waiting to come first over at the, just before the 5/8. There's no way. He said he didn't feel good either. He said, yeah, I thought he was a little flat. So he drew his blood today. Obviously, the horse was steering great, still dug in. Looked to me like he was going to be fourth in the last turn, and just got headed by the second favorite down the lane. So, certainly no disrespect to the horse that won the race, but I believe Slim Jimmy was nowhere near in his best form yesterday. Drew his blood just to see what was going on today. Per Lucky, listen, first over in 53-3 in the mud, that's about as good as he's going to get. I think it is. And he's not awesome right now. He's kind of good. That first over stuff, it's tough. It takes its toll on him. And I'll be honest, I talked to Daryl and a couple of other partners last night. The Open in Illinois goes for $12,600. And they said, wow, he races for 23 in Scioto. I said, that's great. What's it matter if he races for $23 million if he doesn't get it? I would rather get all of 12.3 than a portion of 23. It seems like a no-brainer to me. And I saw a couple of the Open horses go there last night, I believe, and I think he'd probably do very good out there. A horse like him, an older horse like him, you don't want to go to the well every week, right? If you can race him somewhere where 90% is good, he stays good all year. Good all year. So we'll see. That's certainly not a certainty, but honestly, I don't want Yes and Per Lucky tripping over each other in Scioto. I don't want Yes racing in Northfield right now. He's not good enough. He's good enough doing the numbers in 9,000 or 12 or whatever they have, but he's not good enough to race in the Open. So I'd rather not race him there. Kings County's in the Open in Scioto. So, and that will bring us to Kings County. So with Per Lucky, I thought he raced good. I think that was a fair mile from that horse. I thought he raced good. Slim Jimmy was flat, still finished second, still raced good. And then Kings County raced great again. That's a good mare. I didn't know it was a mare until yesterday. Wow, and a nice horse. Refined, raced very, very good. Raced very, very good. Kings County raced good too, but when you have to work to get to the lead, and then you have to cut the big favorite loose at the half, going to 3/8, and nobody bothers her, guess what? You're not beating her. So, Refined raced good. Kings County was good also and raced well. And then I forgot, Marshall Zukoff, first lifetime start for my father. Freddie owns the horse with his friends, and you guys all know Big Fred. He owns the horse with his friends, and Marshall Zukoff won. Not only did he win, but he didn't jump over the shadows. He didn't act up. He looked like a seasoned pro. So Mario's done a great job with him over the last 6 weeks. Very, very happy with what I saw. And earlier in the day, because my phone wasn't working, I had to wait till I had Wi-Fi. What a trip from More Than You Know. My God almighty, did he ever look good in the qualifier. Sylvain went with him, 56 last quarter and 28. Do yourself a favor. Don't look at the line. The line is impressive. It's not near as impressive as the qualifier. Go back and watch the race. Leaves, quarter poles to the front, gets pinned in, shoots up the inside and drives away in 56, 28 piece at the end of it. He looked awesome. Very, very good. And landing strip, first lifetime qualifier, he looked good too. So he'll come back with another qualifier with landing strip. The Pacer will likely race, I suspect, within the next week. So very happy in that regard. Now, we have our horses in Monday, and James picked over landing pad. I could have killed him. He told Dominic, and I told him this morning, I said, James, you told Dominic the horse was ready to race, then you didn't drive him. Why not just re-qualify him or school him once more? The horse qualified 2-3, and he's in to go at Mohawk. And now Jody's going to have to drive him, who's never sat behind him. I smell a beating coming on. I do. And I don't mean the horse, I mean to James. Man, he took Globetrotting. Globetrotting doesn't like him, and he doesn't like Globetrotting, but he took her over a look at that cat. Jody's going to pick that drive up, and then picked over Stay Close with a horse. He already picked her Stay Close over Ritson before, and beat Ritson with Stay Close, I believe. And then picked off him. So, a little politics going on there, I believe, but that's fine. It's okay. Get some pulp. I'm all right. So very happy with what took place yesterday and today. Listen, I could have trained. Let's get to the training. Carter Michael Dio, he was actually a little flat today. I'll be completely honest. Scope clean. The vet went over him, couldn't find anything bothering him. Didn't look like there was anything bothering him in his training mile. But he just didn't have that jam to him. Now, I haven't gone with him in a while, but for James McDonald to tell us, after knowing how good the other horses are, for James McDonald to tell us that that's our best horse, that is a Grand Circuit animal, that says a lot. I didn't see it this morning, so we drew his blood. It wasn't in his airway, which is good. He's a big, loud, noisy stud that shipped 4.5 hours with other horses yesterday. I think we might find a little bit of an elevated AST on this guy come today. Hopefully it's not too elevated because he's racing on Wednesday. But, Jason was concerned because Jason cares about the stable too, and he's like, he's trying to figure it out. The vet's trying to figure it out because everybody knows that this is supposed to be the one. This is supposed to be our best horse. Think of all the good horses we raced and qualified. James went to bat for this horse after he saw all that also. There was no, wow, Jesus, Spitfire winning 55, maybe he's the best one. Never wavered. He doubled down and tripled down on Carter Michael Dio being our best horse. So, I'll be very clear. If his AST is at a level, or if there's anything wrong with him that he won't be able to race Wednesday, I don't care if the race is for $7 billion. He's not racing. We have all summer long and all year long with Carter Michael Dio. Mechanically, I didn't see him try to make a break or even put a rough step in at Northfield Park. So I'm happy in that regard. But I certainly didn't feel a fifth, and I'm not even sure if I get up into fourth gear with him. It wasn't like we were going at 55. I was trying to go mile 2.5. So, I'm going to see what the vet says with the blood work. Maybe it's just elevated a bit and we can drive it down before Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be up to our vet, Jason, and Tim's vet, Tim. And if we can't, we can't. It's frustrating. It's not the end of the world. I just looked at the entries. There is another horse in there that we own. He's in with Crantini. So, if by chance something happens with Carter and he can't go on Wednesday, then he can't go. That's the way it is. But as of right now, we'll wait and see what the blood work says. And then I'll tell you who I did train also is Blue Tesla. He likes. I like the Blue Tesla very much. I trained that horse. I bet you I won a mile. I say I bet you because I forgot my stopwatch in the barn. Doesn't happen very often, but it did today with her. I bet you I won a mile in 2 minutes with Blue Tesla, and she was very good. Now, she needs to be shod. Not a lot of vet work's needed, though, but I like this filly a lot. Very happy with what I saw from her. So can't wait to race her on Wednesday. Now, here's the scoop. There was a little... Listen, we got so many horses and so many things going on. There was a little mistake made. Jason, it's funny because Amy does the same thing and I find myself doing the same thing. We get Whispering Song and High Enterprise mixed up. I don't know why. It's not that close. High Enterprise is going to the Buckeye. Whispering Song is going to the Sire Stakes next Sunday. Problem is, I wouldn't have really wanted to race High Enterprise Wednesday anyway. I want to get her real good for her next start. I just don't want to make her next start a tightener. I want to make her next start a blowout. I want her to be very, very good her next start. Jason had entered Whispering Song back Wednesday, thinking that the Sire Stakes, yes, is coming up, but I don't think the math quite equated. It happens. It happens. Whispering Song should not have been entered for Wednesday, and it was Randy Hutchinson who brought it to my attention. He says, "Geez, you gonna race the filly Wednesday back Sunday?" No. So Jason has to call and figure out how we can, get the horse scratched, judges out. I'm sure there may be a fine involved, but it was obviously a mistake. And as I said, Jason's super meticulous. He doesn't ever make mistakes like this. Sometimes everybody does. We're only human. And, it was bothering him. And I said, listen, if this is the worst thing that happens to us this week, we'll be just fine. Whispering Song will likely train on Tuesday or Wednesday, but I don't really think I'd like to race her on Wednesday. So, my wife, my kids, clients, we got a big Wednesday coming up at the Meadows. Everybody's going to be over there. Scott Zeron is there with his girlfriend Megan. They're bringing down Taiwan On, who's going to race on Thursday, and Crantini, who's going to race on Wednesday. So Scott and his girlfriend are coming down. Mark Weaver hasn't seen Ollie in over a year, so we're all probably going to have a dinner and go out. I can tell you this much. Any competent human being, I believe Blue Tesla trotting 55, 56 on Wednesday night, and any competent human being can drive her. So I haven't looked at the draw, but if we find a suitable replacement, I may not go to Northfield on Wednesday at all. Whispering Song's not supposed to be going. And Blue Tesla, honestly, I really think anyone can drive her. She is a sweetheart and a Cadillac. We know where her hobbles go. I trained her in the race bike. We know all the gear we want on her. We know everything. Very few things we want to change. She just needs shot. A little concerning Monday, shoeing her for Wednesday. I hate that, but Blacksmith told me flat out he can't shoot today. So not a lot needs changed. We know what everything needs. We know where everything is on her. I may not go and race her on Wednesday. I might stay at the Meadows and go out to dinner. It's not very often that all my kids now, because Ollie stays home for baseball, it's not very often that all my family can come over, and it's never often that Scott's here. I haven't even asked. Mark might be here, and those guys, if they're here Wednesday for the Sire Stakes, that's because they're here Thursday also. So there might be a number of us going out. So I'll tell you this: you're all welcome to come though. For any of you out there that are at the Meadows, in the Meadows area, in the greater Washington, Pennsylvania area, next Wednesday afternoon. There'll probably be a large group of us going somewhere for dinner. So, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. So, it was a good day today. Don't worry about Carter Michael Dio. If his blood comes back and the vet's like, yeah, you might race him, but he's not going to be 100%, then I'll scratch him. Simple as that. But from what I can see mechanically, there's no issue with Carter Michael Dio. What I mean is, as far as those brakes and putting in steps, he didn't do any of that here. I just trained him, and I know one thing. He might not have been as flashy as I wanted to see him, but I got to see him work. Whatever was there, it isn't there now. Not that I can see. So Carter Michael Dio, happy with him in one sense, a little disappointed in another. But we'll see. Maybe that AST's just up a bit. We can run some fluids into him and it'll be just fine. That'll be fine too. Blue Tesla was fantastic. The horses raced great last night again, both in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Illinois. That was really concerning, is getting those horses off on the right foot, off on the right hoof in Illinois. Want to make sure Rosita's Dream is dialed in tight, screwed down tight, and ready to go. GJ's ATM, I wanted to get a look at him. Haven't seen him in a while. Very pleased with both of them, and very pleased with the partnership with Mr. Jim Eaton. Seems like a real professional, and very, very happy to have the horses with him. So happy with Ross in Indiana, happy with Jim out in Illinois. Obviously super happy with Megan and Scotty in Pennsylvania. Then we have our stalwarts that are always there, Jason, Tim. Everything is coming together in 2022, and I couldn't be any happier than I am right now. So with that long video about last night, I'll let you guys go.